Hi, this is Jill Ciminillo, and I am the managing editor with Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. And today I actually traveled to a location to look at the 2022 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. Whoa, that's a bit of a mouthful. Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. And this is not all new for 2022, but it is significantly refreshed. So my goal for this video, my time is very limited, so my goal is going to be to take a quick look at the exterior and some of the changes, to look at the interior, and to give you a few driving impressions. So stay tuned. I'm going to flip the camera around. Let's take a closer look right now. Now, as I noted, the Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross is not all new, but you will notice a significantly refreshed design, and the grille, I think, is probably going to be one of those focal points for the difference. Now, this vehicle will start at about $24,000 for the two-wheel drive model, and what you will see is some really cool design as well as a nicely styled interior. So, okay, the hood is all new because it slopes down a little bit more. You know, these lights are new. These are actually daytime running lights, and your headlight has actually been moved down to here. So that is significantly different. Now let's walk around to the back, because that is going to be the other big difference that you are going to see in the design of the 2022 model. Whoop, look at that. The split crosshatch window thingy is gone. Previously, if you're familiar with the old Eclipse Cross models, you know there was like this crossbar that kind of went across the back window. It was a little bit disruptive, and I'll be honest with you, it created a bit of a blind spot, and I'm guessing they probably got some feedback following along those lines, so they changed it for this refresh. However, they didn't want to completely get rid of the idea of having the crossbar, so what they did instead is they took those lights and they made it kind of feed into the glass, and kind of, even though you don't see the bar going across, it just kind of has a visual element that carries through. Overall, just walking around the exterior of the vehicle, I think this looks really nice. It looks much more mainstream, and as you can tell, it looks a little less kitschy, but the strong horizontal lines give it a really good, solid stance, a solid appearance, and it just generally looks a lot better and a lot less weird than it did in the iteration of the vehicle. Let's power up and look at the interior of this vehicle. So I do want to point out that this is the SEL trim, which means that it's going to have all the whistles and bells. This is the up-level trim. It does have the available all-wheel drive as well. So this vehicle itself is going to top out around $32,000. And the all-wheel drive is a $1,600 option on all of the trims. So you will notice there is not a digital display here, but I think they did a pretty good job of, making this center part here digital and keeping the analog gauges. I think it works. I think it looks good. And I did notice I had my navigation set to get here, and so some of the navigation features, like the point directionals, showed up in this middle area here. And so I think that worked. I think it looked really good. This vehicle comes equipped with the adaptive cruise control. So $32,000, it does have the adaptive cruise control. You set it and forget it, and it slows down when the vehicle pulls in front of you or you come up onto a vehicle. It modulates your speed to match theirs, and it worked really well. I had a couple people cut me off on the highway while we were driving here, and the vehicle caught it and didn't jerk on the brakes or do anything silly, and I kept my foot hovered over the brake just in case, and it did exactly what I wanted it to do. Another available feature is going to be this pop-up head-up display. So you have your controls here, and this will put it up and down. So it will flip the screen up and down. So if I hit the button, it puts it down. Keeping in mind, the price point for this, starting at about $24,000, the fact that a head-up screen is even available in this class is pretty cool. And then, you know, the up and down buttons here just allow you to set the orientation of the items on the screen. It's really hard to capture that on video, but it does show the speed limit on there, as well as if you have cruise control set or something like that, it shows that as well. All right, so let's talk a little bit about materials and the screen. So I don't know what the base screen is. This is the 8-inch up-level screen. It has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It is a wired-in system, and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are not standard. So with whatever the base screen is, and I'm not sure, I couldn't find it easily, but whatever that base screen is does not come with Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. But this up-level screen does, and you know, 8 inches, and I think the screen itself is pretty good. You know, these graphics are a little bit dated, a little bit old. I don't love those, but you know, the map looks good. The TomTom navigation works really well. And I played around with the sound system a little bit. They have a thumb drive in here with the music preloaded onto it. And I can't share it with you because YouTube copyrights, but I do want to say I thought the sound system sounded very good. And I am going to put a couple of TikTok videos out there, so follow Jill Ciminillo on TikTok. I think I can get away with putting some sound on there. I can't do it on YouTube. All right, so materials. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. It's plasticky, and it's more of a rubber plastic than a cheap plastic, but you're not looking at super upgraded leather finishing touches. You have this fake carbon fiber-ish look plastic casing there, but it doesn't bother me. Again, this vehicle is starting at $24,000, and this is the up-level SEL trim. It has all the whistles and bells, so you've got, and I don't think this is leather, I think it's a leatherette surface, but the seats are really comfortable and it looks really good. And something else to know that's new for this model year is the fact that this light gray interior is an option. Previously, if you got an Eclipse Cross, you could only get a black interior. So the fact that you can lighten it up a little bit is definitely helpful. The last thing that I really want to point to and point out in this system, or in this vehicle, hey, look at that. Volume knob, tuning knob. Volume knob, tuning knob. Previously, there were a couple of buttons involved here, and frankly, not a fan of having to use buttons to tune your audio station. So the fact that they brought the volume knob and the tuning knob back is certainly a bonus. Let's take a quick tour of the back seat before I get into some driving impressions. And what I want to say is Mitsubishi has done a pretty decent job of giving some good knee room and some good foot room back here. And a lot of that is due to the design of the seat, because it kind of curves so that, you know, it gives somebody who is, well, taller than me, better capability to have some good room to sit back here. And you'll notice that seat is pretty far back, actually. So that's my driving position. That's the passenger position. So this is not situated for somebody who's 5 feet tall. And I think they did a really good job. You know, the seats back here are pretty comfortable, a little bit firm, but comfortable. And I will also point out that this has heated seats, and while you don't have USB charge ports back here, you do have a jack that you can put a converter in to power up and charge a couple of devices. While I'm back here, I will also point out there are cup holders in the door, and as long as you don't have a fifth person, you can pull down this armrest, and there's a couple of cup holders in here as well. Overall, even though there are not air vents back here, which I could certainly use those a little bit today, you know, I like the comfort and the accessibility to this back seat. I think they did a fairly decent job on this vehicle. While I was sitting back here, I did notice that they actually had a sticker sheet, so I figured we'd take a quick look at that. And the vehicle has a base price of just under $29,000. We added almost $4,000 in optional equipment, and then with the destination fee, you're looking at $34,000. So in terms of optional equipment, your biggie here is going to be the SEL Touring Package, which adds that head-up display and the panoramic sunroof. So that would be this guy right here. And like, where did it go? Whoop. The Mitsubishi Power Surround System, or Power Sound System, which I referenced earlier, and some collision mitigation, high-speed braking capability. All right, so yeah, so you can see I really liked the badging on the front, the black badging. That was an option. And yeah, so in terms of regular content, this has the 1.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, and I thought it was really peppy. I'll get into drive impressions in a moment. And oh, so it says leather appointed seating surfaces. So I guess when I said leatherette, leather appointed. But yeah, lots of equipment on here. And I think that $34,000 is pretty reasonable when you are talking about everything that's on this vehicle. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about before we leave the sticker sheet is going to be the fuel economy. It says 25 miles per gallon in the city, 26 miles per gallon on the highway. This is an all-wheel drive vehicle. I will point out I had mostly highway driving on the way here, and I averaged 28.8 miles per gallon. All right, so I just want to wrap this up with some driving impressions. As I said, this has the 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, and I thought that was a really nice engine for this vehicle. We mostly were on the highway. It was pretty smooth, and you know, the acceleration to get on the highway or to merge with traffic or to pass traffic, I did have to pass a couple of people. I thought that was really good as well. I will point out that because this is more on the entry-level side of things, interior quietness in this vehicle is not going to be totally excellent. You did hear a little bit of tire noise, you did hear a little bit of engine noise, you did hear a little bit of the wind noise creeping into the cabin, but didn't bother me, and when I turned on the radio, didn't notice any of it at all. I think the fit and finish is really decent for this vehicle, even if the materials in some ways are a little bit plasticky. Again, for this vehicle, it doesn't bother me. All in all, I've really only been behind the wheel for an hour and a half, so this is totally a first impression, but the first impression is very favorable. I love the design changes. I think the driver's seat is very comfortable, and the overall ride and handling is smooth and comfortable as well. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you down the road.